Hello again, everyone. In today's video, I will be researching on our series of video, the old world and the resets. And I really like this Instagram page, and I will be researching on this page. So I found some really impressive posts to consider, to contemplate about. So let's think together. So this is the first post I will be searching. So as you guys can see, there's a historical building. You see, it looks like some pyramids in Mexico. You know, I remember that the pyramid in one of the pyramids of Mexico, there is a uh, ladder or uh, stair, a big stair, a long stair in front of the pyramids in Mexico. So let's see what it is all about. So its name is El Palacio Norte, or you can say El Gran Palacio de Sail. It's located in Yucatan of Mexico. Sail was one of the most densely populated cities in the mountainous region of Yucatan. Its occupation dates back to the years 700 and 1000 AD. It sits in a small valley. The Great Palace of Sail is a three-story monumental building with more than 90 bedrooms and 8 coltons or whatever. Colton is a bottle-shaped underground storage chamber built by the pre-Columbian people in southern Mesoamerica. The decoration and masonry of the different levels varies and is not completely symmetrical, although all its components are of the Puuc architectural styles. The simple appearance of the lower level west side suggests that this was the oldest in the complex. The other sections present relatively elaborate decoration and construction techniques, characteristics of the late Puuc style. Puuc is the name of either a region in the Mexican state of Yucatan or a Maya architectural style prevalent in that region. Architectural style prevalent in that region. But this is what is interesting. There are no Mayan glyphs to insinuate that this structure is Mayan. Later additions added were from the Mayans, just as one sees later additions from the Inca to the megalithic structures they found. It is reasonable to believe that many of the pyramidal structures, Puuc style, Puuc style, considered to be Mayan, were already created before the Maya came to utilize them, and then etched their glyphs into the structures later on. Also note that there is no known Mayan beginnings in archaeological findings. So these are the photos of it. So this is the map from the map of its location. So let's continue to another post, but I wanted to say that this is really important information about why the old world and the resets are significant to understand that there were maybe giants civilizations that are capable of creating those uh, buildings with their laser technology, or I don't know, X-ray technology. Uh, they may be capable of that technology, and that's how they could only build those kinds of buildings in a perfect uh, architectural wisdom. So it was really important. So here we have another post about the giants and their skeletons. Giant skeletons um, unearthed at Athens in Greece, thought to have been Indians of gigantic proportions. Athens, December 6th, the skeletons of two Indians have been unearthed along the banks of Hocking River at Roch's Mill. I think this Athens should be in USA or Greece, I don't know. Hocking River at the Roch's Mill, 1/2 mile east of Athens. The excavation was made under a large building a short distance from the bank of the river. Unearthed a few feet from the skeletons were many arrowheads, which no doubt were buried with the redskins when they were um, sent either by accident or natural death to the happy hunting grounds. The skeletons were evidently those of gigantic men. Judging by the bones, they couldn't have measured less than 7 feet in stature. The bones were in an excellent um, state style of preservation. Excellent state of preservation. Actually, it was so difficult for me to read the text because it was a poor picture, but I really understood the context of it, the content of it. Yeah, in the comments, people said Serpent Mound skeleton, Ohio Valley giants were everywhere. One some price is still in Connors Mound in Marietta. Yes, let's continue on to this post. So this is a castle from Scotland. So let's talk about it a little bit. So this is Castle Sinclair Girnog Gir how can I read it? Girnigo. Girnigo. Castle Sinclair Girnigo. Castle Sinclair Girnigo is located about 3 miles north of Wick on the east coast of Caithness, Scotland. It is considered to be one of the earliest seats of Clan Sinclair. Wow, it was a location of the place of a clan in the medieval times, or I don't know. Yes, medieval times. It comprises the ruins of two castles. The 15th century Castle Girnigo and the early 17th century Castle Sinclair. The earlier Castle Girnigo was built by William Sinclair. Earlier castle. The second Earl of Caithness, probably sometime between 1476 and 1496. Expansion occurred in 1606 when Castle Sinclair was built. It was later damaged by cannon fire during a succession dispute and has been uninhabited since 1690. Castle Sinclair Grinigo, despite its ruined state, is one of the best surviving and unchanged examples of a late medieval, early modern fortified complex to survive in Scotland. Another prime example of mud and flood. Look at the archway at the bottom. Yes. Lots of degradation and deterioration from water and fire damage. What type of fire melts stone? What type of water damage melts stone? Melts stone. And I guarantee that the castle isn't as old as they say. Yes. It is also really shocking. So let's see the other photos. But look at the bottom of that ruin. Look at the archway at the bottom. It's interesting, isn't it? Maybe it should be a bigger castle, but with the mud flood, it is buried underground. More interesting into info that lines up with 1812 event date, high heat salinic water lines shown on the bottom of ruins in the last slide drawing from 1821. So look at those. They are melted. So here's the castle, and these stones were melted with a precious technology that all of the people are not conscious about. Look how it melted. It's not normal. Water damage cannot do this. Fire damage cannot do this. Look how it is the same with the upper side of the castle and the bottom side of it. The same, but it looks a bit more melted. So this drawing is from 1821. Very interesting. Castle Sinclair and Unigo. This is the earlier photo, earlier art, earlier picture of it, or art of it. Really interesting. So let's move on to another post. The falsification of history. Our distorted reality. John Hammer. Consider reading this little eye opener for more current history. Essentially, you are born to learn at least one thing. So this is Sicily Isles. Isles of Sicily. More proof of flooding. Look at the last pic. Old map of islands. Let's look at the old pic. So it's today's pics. It's again today's pics. Location map. So it's the previous drawing of it. Looks much more bigger, right? And look at today's real photo. Much more difference we can see. So yeah, an archipelago of the southwestern tip of Cornwall, England. The islands may correspond to the Cassiterides, Chin Isles, believed by some to have been visited by the Phoenicians and mentioned by the Greeks. At certain low tides, the sea becomes shallow enough for people to walk between some of the islands. This is possibly one of the sources for stories of drowned lands. Ancient, ancient field walls are visible below the high tide line of some of the islands, such as Samson. If there are walls built only seen at low tide, that would conclude the waters around the islands and possibly the ocean and or the world over were very much lower centuries ago. The waters came up and now they will retract before coming up again, like the way it does before a tsunami. Samson is the son of Manoah, of tribe of Dan, named after one of Jacob's 12 sons. His story has extraordinary aspects. His birth itself a miracle. An angel announced to his mother that she will give birth, even though she is sterile. When he became an adult, he displayed an extraordinary strength. The Bible reports that it is linked to the length of his hair, that is to say, to the respect of his vow of Nazareth. The Nazis didn't cut their hair nor their beard to take care of their physical aspect as a sign of preference and of consecration to God. Interesting. The islands of Samson or of giants. Interesting, another reference to the taller beings of our past. So yeah, there is another photo of which the truth about it's showing us the mud flood truth. What else is buried in the mud and under the water? Look at what recently discovered in Iraq. I think a long time ago the waters were a lot lower in various locations. Waters may be rising again in some places and lowering in others. This is not climate change, but a shift, something yet unknown but theorized. We know this from the many markings discovered, especially from the Bosnian pyramids. We will learn from our past so that we are not condemned to repeat it. So here you can see um, how this building is much more in a lower state and this is higher. So look at the doors. This one in today's world photo is much more shorter and in the previous photo it is much more taller. So also look at the so this is the result of the mud flood we experienced as a humanity in the 18th century or 19th century. Um, yeah, it was not that much shorter, but it was much more taller. Actually, if we excavate or if we excavate and see the bottom side of this whatever we can say canal door gate and we can see its bottom side actually a 3,400-year-old city in Iraq emerges from underwater after an extreme drought. So you can see how the resets were very successful and not that much successful because it is getting emerging from underwater due to some extreme drought. Um, it These cities are always going to be revealed through time, throughout the time. So here you can see the ancient items. Here you can see the houses. So what we have here. So I will continue to this in the next video. See you in the next video.